Sharp Game here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com off of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. And today, I'm going to be talking about toxic women, toxic Japanese women. And before I get started, there's toxic women in every group of people, every nation. They're everywhere. They're like roaches, basically. They come out at night. But most of what I have to say is going to be based on Japanese women. And, first off, what is a toxic woman? That's a good question. See, I'll give you an example. You ever everyone has somebody in their life where every time they meet them, it's always a nice experience. There's a good vibe. And when it's time to leave, you don't want them to leave. And when they do leave, you're looking forward to the next time you see them. Right? Now, that's a good experience, right? On the other side of the coin, when your phone rings and you see that person's calling you, you don't want to answer. And when you do see that person, maybe they come home, maybe y'all live together, they come home, you be like, damn, she's back early today. And then you don't really like being around her. It's kind of hard to talk to her. You got to pull teeth. She never has anything positive to say about anybody, especially you. Doesn't support you in anything. She tears you down. She tries to take props and anything that you do and try to relate it to her. So for example, if you get an award for something, she'll say, oh, you got that because of me. Or if anyone invites you to a party, she said, oh, the only reason they invited you because I was with you that time. That type of shit. You know what I'm saying? She downplays everything you do, but puts herself on a pedestal like she's somebody special. I told a Japanese girl a couple months ago, I told her, hey, let's cut this bullshit out. Because I told her, I don't know what you're doing out here in these streets. But if you were as good as you claim to be, you wouldn't be here in America. You would be in Japan. You would have gotten married at 21 and had a baby by 25. So let's not play that game. Don't act like you're a hell of a woman and you're 44 years old and never been married with no kids. Let's not play that game. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them will do that shit. A lot of them will come over here and act like they're the best thing smoking, but have no proof, no results of nothing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these women don't want to be held accountable to the same standards as guys do. See, they want to be able to fuck as many guys as they want, do whatever they want, and still be held to the same standard as a girl that's just about to graduate college. Yeah, they still want to be. They can be 35 years old, done fuck 100 guys, and still don't want to be called a hoe. You know what I'm saying? They'll get with guys. They'll run through guys. They'll sleep with guys just for the money, and don't want to be held accountable for that. They think it's cool in the game. They think, some guy is gonna come and wife them up, and it's gonna be all good, and they're gonna live happily ever after. And when it doesn't happen like that, they looking for somebody to blame. Because they just don't believe that they're part of the problem. You know what I mean? So these type of women exist out here, man. It plays out in America all the time. Because you got these feminist groups that claim to be fighting for women's rights, but in reality, they just want to get treated better than guys. It's all about power over everybody else. That's what it's really about, you know. And the thing that I learned a long time ago, if you want to know what any of these groups are all about, just follow the money and look at their actions and their intent. That's how you know what these groups or organizations are all about. Follow the money and look at their actions and their intent. See, because they'll, in America and even in Japan, or in a lot of these first world countries, they'll say one thing and do another. The good old bait and switch. You know what I mean? So, and when it comes to a lot of these toxic women, you can't really build anything with them. You can't, because you know they'll find a way to tear it down. If they can't take credit for it, they'll find a way to tear it down. Trust me, it's gonna happen. And they'll do a lot of stuff behind your back. And if you catch up with her, she'll find a way to wiggle out that too. Because a lot of these toxic women, they're like snakes. And a lot of these women work in these corporate offices. And a lot of people, it's a misconception. A lot of people think a toxic woman is somebody that came from a broken home or didn't have both parents in the household. That's not the case. A lot of these women had both parents. They just, you know, had some type of issue with their parents and they just never worked through it. You know, or they maybe had some tragic experience as well. You know, who knows? Maybe there was an accident. Maybe they was on medication when they were younger, or maybe they popping. We're in a pill popping society. A lot of them is on antidepressants, all kind of shit. This is what a lot of these women don't tell you. You know, like for example, I've learned. I remember I was in Japan, and I met this girl, and I talked to her for like 6 months, and I realized that something went right about her. And then her friend told me that she was in a car accident and she almost got killed and died, and she had brain damage. She got brain damage. And she failed to tell me that, you know, but I knew something wasn't right about her. You know, she was just a little off or whatever. So a lot of times when you meet these women, you never know you never know their background. They're not gonna tell you a lot of shit, especially in Japan, especially a Japanese girl. You know, but you know, see, a lot of these girls, you know, if you go to Japan, living in Japan, or if you're military, or maybe get a job over there, there's only but so much you're gonna know, you know, within a short amount of time. And one of the biggest things I learned is, you know, there's this myth that, you know, if you want to, I guess, get serious or get married to a Japanese girl or engage or whatever the case is, and, you know, a lot, you know, the girl is usually nervous when it comes to you meeting her parents. And the excuse is that you're a foreigner. That's why she's nervous. And I've learned over the years that that's not necessarily the case all the time. The reason why she's nervous in most cases is because it really don't got nothing to do with you. It has more to do with her. Because, see, her parents knows that she's a fuck up. Especially if she's in the 30s. Now, because if she's in the 30s, she's over the hill. It's downhill for her, pretty much. Now, if she's in the late 20s, she's treading them waters hard. You know what I'm saying? Because after she get past the age of 25, her stock value goes down drastically, and her parents they want some grandkids in most cases, because in Japan the women are pressured. There's a lot of pressure on women to get married and settle down and have kids. So most of the time, it really don't have anything to do with you as a foreigner. It has to do with more of who she is as a woman. And this is what a lot of Japanese girls don't tell you if you're a foreigner living over there. You know, which is one of the main reasons why a lot of the older girls come to America. They're prone, a lot of these toxic women are prone to come to America and leave and go abroad because they know that their stock value is going down, and they know a lot of Japanese guys are not checking on them. They're not checking for them. They're damaged goods. Once they hit 35, forget about it. I mean, for a guy to take a Japanese girl serious at 35, he has to be 50 at least. Damn near 50 or damn near 50. You know? So, you know, you just have to be careful out here. And a lot of these women usually get married because they're used to camouflaging and hiding stuff. You know, by the time the guy usually catches on, you know, that she's misrepresenting herself, they already got a baby and they're married and they probably been living together for 2 to 5 years in most cases. You know what I mean? And a lot of these women, toxic women, see, all they have is their image. That's pretty much their focus all their life. They focus on their image. And see, once they start getting older, see, they have a hard time keeping their husband's or boyfriend's attention, right? So a lot of these women usually fall into depression because if the guy is checking for other women, that's going to really fuck with her mind, because in her mind, she's the baddest thing smoking coming out of Japan. So she can't stand the fact that he's looking at other women or checking for other women or making comments about other women in her presence, even if it's the television. Right? So, you know, and this is why in most cases they end up getting a divorce, because the guy finally figures out that she's a fraud. And a lot of these women tend to talk too goddamn much. You know, they like the Energizer Bunny. They talking all the goddamn time. See, and a lot of Japanese guys, they don't play that shit. All that talking and talking, you know. But come being a foreigner, I mean, we don't know, because, you know, a lot of times, they use the excuse is that that's a part of the Japanese culture. But that's not true, because if everything was a part of the Japanese culture, everyone would have the same experience dealing with Japanese women. But that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Because my experience is going to be different from your experience or my friend's experience. And see, I learned a valuable lesson living in Japan. See, hate supersedes culture. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't like you, I don't respect you, I'm going to treat you any way I feel within the moment. It ain't got nothing to do with no culture. You know what I'm saying? And if you talk to some of those people that are non-Japanese that were born and raised over there, or if you talk to some of the people that's from the Philippines over there, I can almost guarantee you they're gonna have a totally different experience from me, and it ain't got nothing to do with no goddamn culture. That's just an excuse, because a lot of Japanese people don't like talking about it. They don't want to hear it. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of Japanese women, just people in general, they don't really, you know, they kind of don't like talking about anything really. and and they don't respect the great Buddha. But at the same time, if you start talking about something that happens in Japan, they got a problem with that. So I'm like, I mean, I just don't understand it. The whole thing is like they just want to be comfortable. They don't want to talk about anything, even though it probably would benefit the relationship, but they still don't want to talk about it. So a lot of these women, these toxic women, you can't really talk to them about anything because they're not about truth and doing the right thing or reality at all. They don't really care about family in most cases. All they care about is just, they're kind of like the good time girls for the most part. They just like to have a good time. They like to be entertained. They don't really have any friends either. That's another thing. They don't really have any friends. They might have one friend that they've been knowing for a long time, and that one friend is just like them. They're about the same. And she doesn't have any friend either. All they have is each other. And a lot of women will pick up on that shit when they hang around women like this. But us guys, we don't pick up on things like women pick up on things amongst each other. You know what I mean? So if you have 9 times out of 10, if you're the number one sign that you're dating a toxic woman is a toxic woman will boost you. She'll boost you up. When you're around her, you just like being around her. You don't have to be doing shit. And she's so cool, you wanna fuck her. You wanna fuck her good. You're looking forward to the next time you see her. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do extra shit just to be around her. You know what I'm saying? She's always saying something that's uplifting. If somebody died in your family, or maybe you're going through some hard times, she always know what to say. She always got some good word. So you want to fuck her. I got people in my life that's like that. Every time I see them, I want to fuck them good. You know what I'm saying? Because I just like being around them. It don't got nothing to do with money. It don't got nothing to do with where I live or where they live or how they grew up. None of that shit. It's just certain people just have that thing, that X factor. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the other women on the other side, the toxic women. They really don't have anything to bring to the table. There's nothing about them that make you say, hey, I can't wait to see them again. Or they're not you can forget about them very easily. If you were having a celebration or a party or something like that, you probably would not invite them. They would not be invited. You know what I'm saying? And even if you did invite them to a party, they probably would wreck the party. You know why? Because they would make the party about them. They would be uncomfortable. They would feel like you're spending too much time talking to other people and not them, even though it's not their birthday. You know what I mean? And so it's very difficult. And they're very irrational, and they really don't. It's all about them. That's what it's all about, really. They don't care about no family. As a matter of fact, a lot of these women, if they see you getting along well with your family, they don't understand why. They would say, why do you feel the need, or why do you think you're obligated to spend so much time around your family and look out for your family and friends? They would feel like, only person that you should be feel the need to do anything for is me, because it's all about her. And these types of women, you got to cut them off. You got to kick their ass out of your life, because you cannot build anything with them. I don't care what you do, it's never going to be enough, my man. I've been around people like this for years, and it's some guys that's married to women that's like this, and all you can do in a situation like that is plan your way out. You know, I know a guy that did that 6 months ago. He left this guy, he was a DJ here where I live at, and he went on tour with Big Boy, Outkast, and a couple of other local people in the area. And he went to LA. He was supposed to go to LA for 6 months back and forth. And he went to LA and he ended up getting with another bitch. And he came back home 3 months later with another girl. And he told his wife he wanted a divorce. So his wife got 2 kids. But after meeting this chick, she talked so goddamn much. I was like, I would have left her ass too. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is, I mean, she was dead weight. Basically, she wasn't supporting him in anything he tried to do, and he's a DJ and a producer, pretty good too. You know, I've heard a lot of his beats and I've seen him perform in public, so he's pretty good. But his wife never supported him at all. Yeah, you know, as a matter of fact, she told him, "Hey, you need to stop DJing and producing and just get a real job." And what happened is when he left and started hanging around a different group of people, and he moved back to Atlanta along with a girl from LA. Now he's in a completely different space. He seems much more happy, much more beat. He have the kids on the weekends along with his soon to be wife now. And the Japanese girl, his ex-girl's Japanese girl, she, you know, that really rubbed her the wrong way. That really, she can't stand the fact that he left her for another woman, you know. So that's what happens, you know. Because she's a nagger, you know. She's a fast talker too, you know. She's always talking all the goddamn time. Think she know every goddamn thing. So, you know, no guy want to be around that bullshit. So when I seen him, man, I saluted him. I mean, do your thing, man. All that bullshit, you know. So, you know, if you like what you heard, and if you want your questions answered promptly, all donations are appreciated, and you can click the link below to do that. That way, I'll guarantee you that I'll get to your questions as soon as possible. And if you like what you heard, click the subscribe link. Until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.